Welcome back, all you tanks, healers, and damage dealers. Still Septilence and Ocean to bring you Game 2 of 5. There's a lot of Overwatch left to be played today, but this one, Ocean, as I talked to you a little bit during the break, this is particularly interesting because both of these teams, while having participated in other things here at the EGFC, this is their Overwatch debut, right here, right now. Both teams.
It's going to be interesting. Villanova said in their sheet that they have not had a 6-person scrim yet. Looking at the Delaware team and just some of their SRs, Delaware also have a very fantastic esports program as far as I'm aware, and they've got a pretty good Rocket League program in particular. So I expect them to be pretty strong. They seem to have a Masters average, so Villanova might be in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, never having done a 6-man scrim before is I don't want to call it a choice. It may just be an unfortunate circumstance, but it's certainly going to hurt your odds of being successful right at the start of things, right? And we're going to be jumping into the same map pool, I believe. So we'll be starting off with Busan. That will then lead into Eichenwald, Hanamura, Junkertown, and then if we get any further, we'll just go into control points. But considering Delaware is a Masters average team and Villanova has never played a 12-man match, I think there's a pretty realistic expectation of how this is going to go.
Yeah, probably. But this is also the first game of an EGF season, which means we don't really know now. We can kind of make as many educated guesses as we can. I predicted at the start of the last game, before the game started, that Connecticut were going to 3-0. And then after that, quickly I was like, hang on, I like the William & Mary team. I hope they win. But realistically, it was a really close 6-month game. Here, I expect Delaware to 3-0. But we don't know. It's an EGF season. We don't know these teams. This is what Map 1 is for.
Yeah, and I don't want to be biased. I don't want to feel like I'm giving one of these teams a leg up, but statistically speaking, putting a Masters team against a team that has never played in a full 6 before, there's just one way that goes. I'm sorry. There's no plot armor in real life. There's no underdog story that aggressive. I realistically think that University of Delaware might be able to put us back on schedule.
That was one way to put it. Like,
that's just the nicest way I can think to say.
Maybe it could have been a bit nicer. That was an Ocean comment there, right? I might have even been harsher, but I didn't expect that from you, Seth.
I just, that's how I'm thinking it, realistically. I think, honestly, I don't want to talk poorly of Villanova because Sienna, we were talking about this with our producer last year, Sienna, when they started the season, they were not very familiar with the game. I won't go into details on how bad things were, but they were very much a brand new team. And if I'm not mistaken, Sienna made it the playoffs last year. So they really had kind of an underdog story, a growth mindset, if you will. They continued to move forward and improve week after week after week. So honestly, even if week 1 goes poorly for Villanova, I mean, there is beyond enough time for this team to learn the game and really shape into a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. I mean, what's going to be awesome about Villanova, just like in the last game with William & Mary, is how they develop over the course of the season. Yeah, William & Mary's a little bit of a different case because they've already got a nice style and they just need to perfect it. But I just want to see how teams develop over the course of the season. This is collegiate. Collegiate is still developing, so that's going to be awesome. But they have something else to be scared of, and that's the Delaware support line. I don't even know what heroes to play. All I know is they like Sour Patch Kids. I like Sour Patch Kids, which means obviously it makes you good at Overwatch. That support line is going to be deadly.
Absolutely, and I love nothing more than a deadly support line. I've said that 1,000 times today, but I really do. And I'm wondering if there's any overlap between Delaware's Rocket League team and Overwatch team, because Pod 36,000, I've definitely seen that name before, and I don't know why. So if somebody in chat, even though I don't have chat open right now, so I don't know why I just said that, but if somebody can let somebody know if Pod also participates in the esports program Rocket League team, yeah, just yell it super loud. I'm sure I'll hear you. No, but that's interesting because these are very different games, Rocket League and Overwatch.
Some of your teams, I mean, I thought you were going to say I love nothing more than Sour Patch Kids. I mean, I kind of feel that way. Let's see how this develops. It looks like we're going to see a little bit of an interesting comp from Villanova. Not sure what this is meant to be, and Delaware going to pull Diva.
A low-ground soldier coming out from Delaware right now, but perhaps that's intentional. Like you said, that is the Masters team, so they are ranked equal to me, so I can only assume they know what they're doing. And this is going to be some great value coming through right now. Pod really farming some damage. What was that? Already 70% of the way to a pulse bomb. So this fight, nobody's falling yet. There goes Frosty, though, down the drain. Snowman with a snowball. It's going to be a 6v5 in favor of the University of Delaware. Blue Falcon's going to lose that Brian Shield. The Diva mech gone. The Lucio gone as well. It looks like Villanova's really got this one back.
Yeah, so I really like teams that try to play difficult competitions and try to execute them as best they can. Really difficult competitions that are also fun to watch and theoretically the best competitions in the game. Delaware are doing that right now. We saw it in the last series when Mary tried the Zenyatta. Delaware doing the same thing. I think there's a higher chance Delaware will be able to execute it. I feel like they had a really good start. They had some really good setup for that team fight. Delaware to get a lot of work, and here they come again.
Tyler got caught out. That was a stick onto a wall, so I didn't think it's going to be able to get much, but it is going to be caught out there. Big Lenny and Nate are going to be able to find some kills as well. And honestly, Villanova already has a fifth of the stage. Delaware, they are in favor of the point right now, and I think this is where we're really going to see kind of the skill gap, if you will. As I think Villanova is probably going to struggle to just re-engage out of spawn here.
I think they're going to struggle to approach a team with so much poke damage while being kind of troubled by a Wrecking Ball and a Tracer. So this is going to be really hard for a team that isn't very experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be tough. And the Diva Bomb comes out from Big Lenny, picks up both the supports. Unfortunately, that ends the fight before it can even begin. There goes Frosty. Nate the Cat is going to be taken down as well. Blue Falcon 55 kisses Busan downtown goodbye. 60% already in favor of Delaware.
Yeah, I think this first map, realistically, once Delaware got the capture, it's probably over. So let's talk about Villanova University, what ways they could potentially approach this. They could potentially go for an aggressive Soundfire and try and create space for that Reaper. So I think that's the way I would like them to approach it, but they already don't have the team with that.
Yeah, I mean, the Diva Max is gone. The beat from Tyler is going to be able to help the team engage a little bit. The Hyper already finding Frosty. The Tac Visor is pretty much canceled out by the beat, so that's a really great engage coming through. Tyga is going to be able to be found out of that mech, though. The move is Nate, and Legend J play is going to fall as well. University of Delaware with another complete and total team kill.
That Soundbar, so they wanted to engage with the Soundbar. I think the Soundbar, not the Soundbar, the actual engagement though was a little bit too early because I think they wanted to wait for the Death Blossom as well. Because once that Soundbar is off, they can get a lot of space for that Death Blossom. That's going to be a cool engagement. So good idea, good Soundbar from Tyler.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've got to say, the ultimate usage from Villanova so far is very impressive. I've got to say, it looks good. They're using them at the appropriate time, so they're definitely not making what I would call kind of rookie mistakes, right? There's already great signs of life here. We see Savix is going to be able to get that kill onto Let J play, but Villanova, they put up a fight, and that is more than I think anybody would expect from a brand new team, right? They've already been able to make this Masters team sweat a little bit, and that is such a good sign.
Yeah, so the Sound Barrier was good. That was probably the best bit. I mean, they didn't win the team fight they weren't going to. I think this
the Sound Barrier was very good.
Right, yeah, it got a lot of value, right? I just think the engagement was too soon and they weren't really going to be able to set up that Death Ball, so that's really what you want to do. So, right, I think what this team needs to develop is just watch the game more, play the game more together, and they'll be able to develop those fight plans and maybe deploy a strong team leader and in-game leader that will help them a lot as well. Delaware, though, I thought I was quite impressed with them. I think they handled that really well. They set up their opening team fight quite well as well. They engaged very proactively, which made it really hard for Villanova. I always like a team that engages proactively. We saw Connecticut do it in the last round. And yeah, Delaware looked pretty solid in that one.
Yeah, they're definitely looking good here. Pod is going to be bringing out the Junkrat. I think this is a fantastic Junkrat stage. I know some people will debate me on that, but really so many chokes, so many opportunities to just spam nades. Really not able to get a lot of value yet. Only 10% on the Riptire, but that makes all the difference as long as you're breaking up shields, helping get Divas out of mechs, you're doing your job. Tyga falls, 2 more, Blink, and you miss it. Villanova going to lose half the team. Half turns into 3, it turns into 4, it turns into 5. Nate the Cat, the only one to make it out with their life.
I feel like Delaware's composition, right, is Brawl, and then you put Sim and Junkrat. Typically, you might see them in variations of Brawl, but you won't see them together. They've just made it really hard for the Villanova, right? Because, you know, younger teams, or not even necessarily younger teams that haven't played the game as much, aren't going to be able to know how to deal with the Junkrat and get for a choke with the Junkrat, and they also won't know how to deal with Sim. So this is just mean.
Yeah, it's just so much damage. It's just so much damage. You can't even hesitate. You can't even get out of spawn here. We see that already. That Earth Shatter, just insult to injury, add-on to add-on here. It's going to be very aggressively in favor of Delaware here on Busan.
Can they do, right? What can they do now is maybe they could try and get Frosty into a position on the left-hand side where everyone tries to go for a choke on the right. That's an idea. The problem is they'll probably all do via the Riptire just enough spam because they don't know how to deal with spam yet. They haven't got to that point.
Yeah, here comes that Riptire just dancing around. Oh man, finds 2 already. Just mildly too severely disastrous here. Frosty picks up a kill onto the Junkrat, but you gotta find a couple more. make this fit. I think realistically, Villanova, they've got smart team comps. I like the comp they're running a lot. Maybe swap the Tracer out for something a little more consistent. I feel like Tracer she has a relatively high skill floor. That might be disagreed with, but I think she's not exactly the easiest character to pick up, especially if you're coming into a new team comp. You want to play somebody that requires a lot less thinking on the playing side and a lot more thinking on the team building side. So maybe a Reaper, maybe a Mei. I think a Mei would actually make a huge difference here, but right now, Savic's just tearing it up on that main tag, keeping Villanova. I don't think Villanova's even touched the ball.
I think what would suit Villanova a lot is maybe that Mei or Mei Cowboy brawl composition. That's probably the easiest composition to learn in the game. I know a lot of people say double shield, but I think double shield can be quite hard, especially when you're playing against teams that take off angles. I think like a standard brawl composition with either Mei and the Cowboy or Mei Reaper is probably the easiest way to learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mei Reaper, a very low skill floor and a very high skill ceiling, a comp that is very intelligent, especially on maps like Busan that have a lot of chokes. They work for the same reason that does. What I was just talking about, a lot of up-close chokes and a lot of engagement comes through being able to get something figured out. Pod, 36,000 though, already able to find a 4K, just ripping Villanova to shreds. I don't even think Pod was the one that got nanoed, right? I don't think they even had a nano available, but University of Delaware, they just storm the castle there on Busan. They tear it up, 2-0 victory, and that is just what a way to start a series.
I mean, that's exactly what we kind of expected. Delaware, have an esports program with a lot of pedigree.
Yes.
They want to go out and win. That's what they're going to go and do. I mean, what it is their sports are hungry. They want to finish this off quickly, go eat your Sour Patch Kids. That's what they want to do. I'm making a joke because that's all the information they give me, right? They give me information that said, okay, we've got these SRs and we like Sour Patch Kids. That's what they told me. So yeah, that's all I've got.
Yeah, absolutely. And Delaware, I'm trying to remember, their Rocket League team last year either came in second or I don't remember which, but they made it all the way to the top bar. Like, they are a top dog team in the Rocket League division. From what we've seen already here, their Overwatch team is looking stronger than ever. So I'm very excited to see kind of how far the program as a whole carries itself. You know what I mean? Because sometimes a program can have like a good team in one game, and then the rest kind of fall short a little bit. But if the Overwatch team is as strong as they appear to be right now, this could be a serious contender later on.
This is where we kind of draw the question, right? So can Delaware compete the highest level of EGF collegiate at the moment, right? I think maybe, right? Because we don't have all the best teams in collegiate Overwatch in EGF, right? That's just a fact. Wish we did, it'd be awesome. But can they compete the highest level of EGF Overwatch? Probably. From what we saw there, they have pretty good setup on their team comps, they have pretty good setup on their engagements. So potentially, we need to see a little bit more out of them, maybe against a stronger team. And can they compete at the higher level of collegiate? Probably not yet. I feel like a lot of their players aren't really known enough to be able to do that. I feel like a lot of the collegiate programs in Overwatch right now are really strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Collegiate Overwatch, I actually bring this up. I feel like I bring it up every year. It feels like the further we get into the series, or into the seasons rather, the better the teams get. Every year, and we see the same thing as high as the Overwatch League. Every year, the skill floor gets higher. Players have to get better and better because these folks have more time to improve. And speaking of more time, we've got more time with these teams. We're going to be keeping an eye out on Eichenwald here coming up next. And I mean, what do we expect Villanova? Do we expect them to make any changes here?
I really think so. I think this first match is going to be a learning process for them. I think maybe like actually in this match they might learn anything, but going back and maybe watching this fall, that's why we're putting a little bit more educational stuff in. It's going to help them a lot, and even just watching other VODs of other games is going to help them a lot, right? This is a learning experience for this team. It's nothing more than that, so let's not pretend this is all Villanova's got. They're going to give us more over the course of the season. Usually when you see Ocean on podcast, you're like, oh crap, he's not gonna like us if we make a mistake, whatever. Today is a learning experience, right? And that
of course,
right? It's a learning experience for Villanova. Could they be playing better? Could they be better prepared? Should they have 6-player scrims? Yes, right, absolutely. And we can criticize them for that and their setup. But we can't criticize them is that the fact that players are here today playing a difficult team. We haven't really seen any behaviour from their players that suggests they're not trying. They are willing to learn, and they're going to learn over the course of the season.
Yeah, Absolutely. This is a learning experience. It's funny. I like that you just kind of called yourself like the Simon Cowell of Overwatch. That made me laugh. I like that a lot.
That's probably what I am, yeah.
Now, University of Delaware, they're bringing out a Pharah. This feels very reminiscent of what we talked earlier, but this time, it worked. It's working. So we see the University of Delaware coming out super strong, the Pharah making a world of difference, and the hit scan from Villanova just not able to register it fast enough, not able to find those kills. Some great successes here for Delaware. That's going to be a 3-point cap already.
Yeah, awesome from Delaware. Really nicely executed. Nate 12, yeah, showing Spar. We haven't seen that from them yet. So it's going to be interesting to now see what different heroes Delaware can play, what they're comfortable playing, and that's some notes that we can take for the rest of the season, their opponents can take for the rest of the season, but also just Delaware to get comfortable playing in match situations together is going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I mean, a great barrage already, and I like this because as mentally booming as this has to be, all honesty, full transparency, I've been a collegiate player. I've been exactly where Villanova is before. But to know like that we're going to see an insane growth from them as the season goes on, like each week, I suspect they're going to get better and better. We saw that happen last year with St. John's University. I expect to see it this year with Villanova. I'm very excited for that almost anime-esque arc of this constantly getting better and improving.
It's awesome because collegiate program and collegiate Overwatch has gone such a long way. Like heck, we have 2 contenders, 2 collegiate teams of contenders. ISU 1 contenders. They're the best Overwatch team outside of the Overwatch thing, apart from maybe O2 Blast, Team CC, etc. Right? They're one of the best Overwatch teams outside of contenders, and outside of Overwatch League, and they're a collegiate team. That's awesome growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Insane growth. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all about growth. This is all about getting better, constantly working to improve. And these teams are doing just that. Burnout now finds Frosty. Taiga gonna lose that mech as well. Nate the cat. Oh, Nate finds Nate. How fun. How exciting. Nate picks up Nate. There is gonna be that resurrection coming. Tyler Hyper, however, the Battle Mercy trying to make a world of difference, even finds the resurrection. Big Lenny's gonna be able to eat those dragons up here from Frosty. Some great damage so far already in favor of Delaware. 6 minutes on the clock.
I've never seen that big of a time like coming into I
don't think I have either.
Yeah, you know what? Just talk about Villanova, right? This has got to be a learning experience. And anyway, well, we are very optimistic that it will be. The problem is if they don't make it a learning experience and they just continue to play like this all year, they don't make any improvements, and they don't get 6 players coming together, that then is going to become more interesting.
Yeah, Frosty does find a kill onto Nate. A Doom killing a Pharah. You don't see that often. Add that one to the highlight reel, but now it's going to be some great progress coming in favor of Delaware. They're just constantly able to keep this momentum moving forward and find some great action. This is going to be a very successful lookout for them. University of Delaware, yeah, they're going to roll in. 5 minutes on the clock. That's an insane time bank for Eichenwald. But I really liked what you said there, Ocean. It was simple, it was short, and no matter how you look at it, a new team up against a Masters, I said it at the beginning, statistically, they're not going to be able to win this one, right? But talk about a learning experience, right? You start by going up against the best of the best. Like, there's only one way to get better, like, and that's to lose to them and learn from the experience.
Absolutely. But say we come later in the season, Villanova play like this again against like a higher pedigree team, then that's when it gets concerning, right? If they don't learn over the season. I hope they do, and I think they will, because we don't really see teams in EGF not learn over the course of the season and not develop. But if they don't develop, that's where you get a big Ocean on broadcast again, and that's where we start to criticize. That's where we start to get worried about this team's Overwatch program in particular. I don't think that's going to be the case, and I hope it isn't, but we'll wait and see to the end of the season. We want to see next week, if we do see Villanova next week, what progress have they made from this week? What did they learn from this game? We want to actually get feedback from their players. Oh, hey, thanks for this sort of tip. We took this. We're going to learn and do this better next time around. And or even if they could get to a coach and ask for that sort of help, right? I want to see Villanova just develop over the course of the season. And I actually will be quite angry if they don't.
Yeah, I to be fair, and I'm not going to name any names here, but I think there are other teams in the league at the level Villanova is currently at. I think them going up against the University of Delaware's full Masters roster in week 1 is just drawing the short stick.
Yeah,
I think that just there's no other way to put it. Like, it sucks. It's very unfortunate. It's not something you want to see happen. But you make it through week 1. This is probably the worst series they're going to be a part of. So they really just need to not let themselves get too mentally boomed by this. It's a horrible, unfortunate circumstance. It really is.
Yeah, realistically, it also could be the best circumstance possible. Playing the best team, realizing, oh crap, these teams are good, we gotta practice.
2 kills already in favor of Delaware. Burnout now, really hitting those shots. We see the quick scope action coming through, and I really like the Ana skin. I'm a huge fan of this put that out there. I really do enjoy this, but Villanova, they were almost able to get that first tick. They ended up losing the fight just a little bit late, and now I assume Delaware is just going to push hard into spawn. That seems to be kind of their favorite pastime.
Yeah, they're a little bit bored now. They're going to go for a hack and then an engagement, possibly. Just trying to get some value with their solution.
Oh, Savic's going to be able to find that in-spawn Earth Shatter. He's going to be able to pick up some great action as well. Only 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock before Eichenwald comes to a close. Maybe Villanova can do something cheeky here. Maybe they can get hyper-aggressive. Frosty is trying to go for Symmetra, but they've got a TP in. I'm not sure if they just swapped out of the Symmetra, but they really need to be utilizing these, first of all, the alternate fires and the teleporter just a little bit more consistently. Pod about to have an EMP. I assume we're going to see the TAC visor immediately after.
Oh, this is going to be scary.
Yeah, there's a 5-man EMP. There's the nano TAC visor. Here comes Rind as well. I expect nothing short of a complete total TK here. And there it comes, a 6-man team kill.
But don't tactical crunch, that's bullying. No, no.
I wouldn't even call. I'd call it hubris. This is playing against brand new players and pretending you're good. You can't do that. That's not fair.
Yeah, I mean Delaware, they have kind of shown me not only that Delaware would be worried if they kind of mess around and they actually didn't dominate this game. But Delaware have at least shown that they are going to be a top tier program because they dominated this game. If they didn't, I would be worried.
Yeah, and wow, okay, yeah, that'll clean up a team fight in the blink of an eye. Really coming through, finding some great value at the end of this. I mean, this is gonna be something. Only 98 seconds left.
This is an important lesson for Villanova. That Sombra hero is very good. Watch out for the Sombra hero. That Sombra hero, that cool Sombra pod's got the hack onto the Reinhardt. Big Lenny was able to get a massive self-destruct off of that.
Oh, the counter shatter finds 5 on the side of Savic there. Some great value coming through. Nate will fall, but Burnout right now able to pick up that main tank. Gonna find some great value off the back of it. The University of Delaware. It's gonna be some hyper aggression. They get the nano out, probably just trying to take out this area. Takes themselves out with an ult fire, so actually negates ult charge. It's gonna be good there for Villanova. 53 seconds left before Eichenwald comes to close.
Okay, let's have the positive here for Villanova. This is probably the best chance to win a team fight. They got Nano Boost, got Down, and they got Graviton Surge. And other than the EMP, which is...
But it's going to be huge.
Yeah, unlucky.
Yeah, just caught in the back line. EMP into TAC visor again. Some great value. On the bright side, you don't get as many kills because they're just going to hide in spawn. You can't kill somebody when they are in their own spawn. So some great value there as well for the University of Delaware. Only 23 seconds left in the matchup.
Oh, they're ultimate, so they could potentially want to team. Never mind. He tries.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty big grab. There's just no follow-up on it.
I've never seen a grab like that. I've never seen a. What did that connect onto the stick in the air like?
Honestly, I think it just hit the top of the Rhine shield, and then everybody else got pulled up onto it. So
yeah, that's pretty funny.
That was funny, yeah.
Never seen that
double play. Tyler somehow on point. I completely missed how that happened. Nate will find the team coming through here.
Well, they give it their best shot. Delaware go 2-0 in the series. And you know what? This is a cool opportunity to come back and talk about collegiate Overwatch, because I think a lot of teams are not getting involved. And I think we have to be supportive of these teams, right? And it is important to be supportive. You can't criticize them right away. But we also have to consider, as I was saying earlier, if they don't develop, then it's worrying. But there is also no room in collegiate Overwatch for teams who aren't there to develop, right?
Of course,
yeah. You're just going to get eaten up, right? And your Overwatch team just isn't going to exist anymore, right?
Yeah.
So, Villanova, you don't start an Overwatch program without trying. And I'm excited. I'm excited for their future. Today's going to be learning experience. But I'm also excited for Delaware, right? That looks really good. Right, yeah, there was a little bit of tactical crouching, a little bit of cheek, but they look confident. They look like they are respecting their opponent still. And that's awesome to see. Delaware, they do excite me.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Delaware, I think we agreed they're like a low to mid Masters roster team. So there are a lot of teams here at the EGFC that are right around that marker. Some a little bit above, some a little bit below. But I think Delaware, they fit into, I would say, like the upper 30-40% of the teams here at the EGFC. So realistically, they are on the higher side. And as we talked about already, Villanova, unfortunately, just real short straw there. But we're going to have to see what happens here in this third map after our super short break. We'll be right back with you folks for this possibly final map of the series. Don't go far. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back. We are jumping into the swing of things coming through here. It's going to be some damage coming out. I think we're jumping into this map for just a moment, and it looks like it's going to be Villanova on the defense once again. University of Delaware going to be on the offense as well, of course, as that's how Overwatch works. But I'm really excited to see Villanova. I feel like if there's a spot where an unfamiliar team can shine, it's just going to be on the general defense, because this, to me, feels the most like first-person shootery, you know, like FPS-y, generally speaking.
Oh, well, yeah. It's a shame that it's on a game of like Assault.
Yeah, he got me there.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point. If you on a map like Junkertown or even like, well, like Route 66 or something, that's a little bit more FPS-y. Gibraltar too. I think that would suit them a lot more. But Delaware here, they're not gonna let them sell. This could be brutal. I'm looking for a minute to capture both points here. This can
Yeah, I'm thinking. So now Pod gets knocked away. Okay, Pod gets isolated. That's actually kind of huge. Just not making it into the teleporter. So a very brief disruption here. Now gonna get up and around. I like there was a sign of life there from Frosty. That was very intelligent to separate the Bastion. Now Pod's gonna drop, go into recon for tank form, excuse me, and just probably tear it up. Blue Falcon's gone. Frosty's gone. So like you said, I'd suspect about 45 seconds to a minute here on the first point. Probably around the same amount of time for the second. University of Delaware, they're going to be able to swarm in. Bastion Symmetra here is a very effective team comp, one that I honestly think isn't utilized as often as I expect it to be.
To be fair to Frosty, that's better than any DPS I've had in my ranked games on Hanamara recently.
Very true.
Right, do you know what? They see the TP and they run away. Right, we could just engage and choke. Come on, engage and choke, isolate someone. Frosty did it. Hero, teaching people how to play in my ranked games.
Yeah, absolutely. The unsung hero in the form of Frosty's Doomfist. Honestly, that was a huge play to get rid of the Bastion, take them offline, because University of Delaware's comp really does revolve around said Bastion. That Pod was going to get anti there, falls off the high ground. The anti does come to a close. Blue Falcon and Tyler, both shields have fallen. J-Play and Nate the Cat are down as well. So yeah, blink and you miss it. About 45 seconds to a minute for both points, but the University of Delaware has already wrapped up a nice little bow on Han.
1 minute and 25 seconds to capture both points. It's probably not going to get more brutal than that. I mean, maybe it could have if they run like Sim Reaper instead of Bastion and they got it set up immediately. That could have been scarier. But while we're on an assault map, let's talk about an interesting topic. There's not going to be an assault map in Overwatch 2. I mean, I think I would love to still see Volsky in like a different form. Maybe Volsky could be a cool escort map. That would be awesome. I want to see that happen. But while we're on the topic of assault maps going away and Overwatch 2 coming into fruition, it's a good time to start an Overwatch program like Villanova has, right? Because that skill gap's going to be shortened when Overwatch 2 comes out and everyone has to have a small learning period. And additionally, right, you know, Overwatch 2, it's a new game. It's going to have some traction. It's going to be some traction to your university. And that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, I feel like a little bit like a broken record, but I definitely want to talk about Villanova in the sense of being a brand new team. They're showing positive signs of life in the form of Overwatch, because as often as we compare Overwatch to a lot of other first-person shooters, it realistically is a very unique game in the sense of it's not just a first-person shooter, you know what I mean? Like, there's very individual things that add to it, certain abilities and ultimates, so on and so forth. So we're seeing a lot of great progress, honestly. This is, I'm excited. I keep saying that, but I really am. I don't want to sound like I'm pandering at all to Villanova, but this feels so reminiscent of Sienna last year. I really hope it works out this.
3, 2,
yeah, it's going to be awesome if we do get to see it. I hope we do. But also, like, right, when it comes to Overwatch 2, I mean, if the game might lose a little bit of its uniqueness going back to 5v5 like most shooters are, that can mean that the game is a little bit easier to pick up. So that could be awesome for Villanova as well. And yeah, it could definitely decrease the skill gap. So it's probably a good time for them to get involved, good time for them to gel as a team, and that's going to be exciting for them. Oh god, my shot.
Absolutely, yeah, a very good shot from Burnout there onto Frosty. This is going to be some positive progress here for University of Delaware. Actually, a gigantic anti-nade from Let's Play, who's already 50%, Let J Play, I think that's an S, from Let J Play, already 60% of the way to a nano boost here. University of Delaware, for the first time in a long time, actually getting stopped in their tracks a little bit. Villanova going to be able to engage at least for just a moment, but now Pod will find that kill onto Frosty and immediately snipe that momentum out from.
He's looking in the back line here, struggling to think about what they want to do. I think if maybe thought there was another player around the corner there, and there is 9. Nate the Cat gonna go down, unfortunately. Pod here is getting a load of value. This is a player that seems extremely confident. Also showed some pretty good timing on the Sombra. So this is a player I think we're gonna have to watch out for, not just in this game, but all season.
Yeah, absolutely. Big Lenny is going to be able to pick up Blue Falcon there, so the main tank currently gone. That's going to be pretty huge here. University of Delaware, they just get to storm in, you know, kick the door down once again, finding some great value. But I like what you said there as well, and I have to agree. University of Delaware, they're definitely showing up at the same level of Tennessee, UTK. I think we're seeing them up next. Wait, no, is that their, you know, Tennessee, the school that we're seeing next. They're an incredibly strong team. It feels like they're roughly on par. Delaware making the same debut kind of level of aggression that Tennessee did last year. So I really am excited to see those two schools go up against each other at some point.
There's not much to talk about. It's just Delaware at the moment throwing ults at the spawn, getting tremendous value. Villanova, they won't know how to proactive play, so they won't know what a proactive playstyle is yet. But I'll tell you what, I like this from Delaware. They are proactive, they are still giving respect to their opponents. I feel like a lot of the time Delaware, if they get a strong start, they're going to be pretty strong because they're going to be putting their opponents on the back foot pretty often.
Yeah, absolutely. Now Pod gonna go in deep, and it looks like Nate is gonna be the one to steal the kills away, finding a double kill with that Rip Tire. Only a minute 45 remains for Delaware. Tyler. Oh man, Frosty does get the kill onto the Junkrat, so Nate goes down. Tyler wasn't quite able to find that kill, goes for the supercharger and gets taken out as well. Burnout so far. Now it's difficult to tell, you know, how strong of a Zenyatta Burnout is as a competitive level, right? But again, this is just statistically speaking a very higher ranked game for the University of Delaware than it is for Villanova. But Burnout so far seems to be very aggressive, seems very reminiscent of some what I always call angrier Zenyatas that we've seen.
I like the adjective to describe it. I mean, to be fair, they put the nano boost on the Tyler with the Valkyrie, and they got a kill with it. They almost got 2 onto the Junkrat, so that was awesome. So at least Villanova have a bit of, they've got a bit of an identity. They like to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about as well that as much as it seems like, oh, like this stinks for Villanova, this happens at, I've seen this happen at any level of anything, at just in any competitive level, right? All the way up to contenders, above collegiate, below collegiate. This just is Overwatch in its definition. Is there's going to be a point where a very strong team goes up against a team that isn't quite as strong. So it's really just an unfortunate circumstance.
A little bit of signs of life there. Villanova got a couple of kills. They actually managed to engage onto the point, and they forced Paul to come out with a pretty good death blossom on the Reaper. No teamfight win yet for them, but a little bit of a sign of life. And you know what? We saw this really recently when ISU, a collegiate team, actually had to play Open Division with Budget X Contenders winners, right? And a lot of the top OD teams that we view as really strong teams, actually just got battered.
Yeah, absolutely. And University of Delaware, they are doing the battering this time around. They are absolutely finding some great value back to back. And it's going to be, you know, that overtime comes to a close. Nobody's going to be able to touch long enough. So it is just one of those GG Go Next series. I think we've given Villanova a lot to, I say we, I didn't. I think Villanova has been given a lot to think about, a lot to improve with, and they can really look back at this. I always say, even the worst of losses, you've got some kind of VOD review on what to know to do better, what to improve, so on and so forth.
So over the course of the season, Villanova will be tasked with learning from each game, getting more scrims, getting more practice, realizing this is a real thing. So that's what they're kind of tasked with. If they don't go to those tasks, they'll fall behind even with Overwatch to bringing the teams a little bit closer. But if, you know what, they get started early, they get to work, I'll be excited. If not, again, I'll be a little bit concerned, I'll be a little bit annoyed. But that's what it is. Some collegiate programs don't get involved. We have yet to see if Villanova are going to be a collegiate program that we get to see in the future properly.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are still behind schedule enough to the point after that 6-map series, don't have an interview with the University of Delaware today. Usually there's an interview after every best of 3, but we're really trying to get back on schedule, and if I'm not mistaken, we're actually pretty close. So we're going to throw it to a super short break, and Ocean, you're with me for one more game, right? You're with me on the next set as well? All right, so we're not doing any sign-offs. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. Don't go far.